Need a few people in. Hello, everybody. We should be live.
Okay.
It always tells me no one's watching when we first go live. Likes to lag a little bit. Let me know if you guys are here. I'm very, very excited to be talking with Kat Singleton. I read you for the first time this year, so brand new to you. I think it was last month.
I feel like a lot of people found me after February. Like I feel like that's not an uncommon thing that people are just kind of.
Well, I mean, I think that's because you kind of blew up with this one.
Yeah, that one unprepared for how no one really knew me, and then people started to know me, and I was like, wait, what?
Yes. Which this was so much fun. We'll talk about it. To get started, we will chat about our favorite book of Kat's. So if you guys are watching, let me know your favorite book of hers if you've read her. And I will go first since I just told you that was the question. So you have a little bit of time to think. I've only read these two. So you have the mixtape series.
Right.
And you have a duet.
Yeah, so my debut novel has 2 books in that series. Okay. They're standalones, interconnected standalones, but those ones, I mean, I put those out and nobody read them. So they're my books, but they're definitely, I'm not known for them.
Yeah. But I read your two newest. Both released this year, right? This one came out in February?
Yep.
Okay. This one's my favorite, but I am definitely a small town obsessed. And Second Chance is one of my absolute favorite tropes. I mean, I love a billionaire romance, so it's really good. But this one just hit different, and I really loved it. So, and the dual timeline is so good. So, my favorite.
I was nervous to write a dual timeline. I was like, okay, really? Yes. I knew people are very passionate about dual timelines, kind of accidental pregnancy and stuff like that. So I was a little bit nervous that you know what I mean? That could turn people off. But hopefully people are enjoying it. They're saying that they're liking it. So
yeah. I think you did a really good job though, lining up the timelines because they kind of go together. So
yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah. That's good to know. It's good to hear.
Yes, it worked. What is your favorite book of yours?
Reread Our Story. Because I feel like Reread Our Story kind of had all of my favorite parts from the books I've written all into one. So my Final Not Goodbye, which is part of the mixtape series, is a very angsty emotional one, and I love that book. But it wasn't as spicy and stuff like that. And I found with Black Ties that I did kind of enjoy writing things on the spicier side. So then I feel like I took the tension and spice from Black Ties and then put it in Rewrite and kind of took all the things that I loved writing from all the books I've written and just put it into one. So Rewrite is my favorite, but I'm very excited for the book I'm about to write, which is the second book in the series, which will have all of my top favorite tropes. So that one probably will end up taking the medal once I get there.
Oh, that's so exciting. Have you shared the tropes yet?
Yeah, I've shared some of them. Not all of them, but it'll be small town, enemies to lovers, billionaire, so I get to kind of bring in, but it's billionaire, which I'm really excited to write out of place billionaires because he's in a small town, which is very, you know what I mean, a fish out of water, which I'm really excited to write. So September.
Exciting. Because I just saw you just posted a story saying you wrote an extended epilogue for this.
I'm writing that right now. Well, I'm finishing it up right now, and then it goes out at the end of this month to all my newsletter subscribers.
Okay, I was wondering what it was for. How long is that then?
So it was supposed to be 2 chapters, but I cannot ever I did the same thing with Black Ties. So it's probably going to be 4. So 2 from each person, kind of
okay. I mean, that's fair. You got to be equal.
Oh, well, there's just so much I feel I want to say from each of their point of views, in the you know what I mean, future. I feel I want updates from both of them and not just one chapter. So I can't ever write just a 2,000 word extended epilogue. I know some people that can, and I'm just I just cannot. I just cannot.
We have someone that said Pippa's story is going to be so good and that you set them up really well.
Thank you. I am so excited to write Pippa in Camden. They're going to be so much fun.
So did you like writing small town? I'm assuming you were excited to write it, right?
Right.
Was it as fun as you thought it would be?
Oh, I think it was even more fun. Small town is always something I knew that I wanted to write, just because I love small town books. I feel small town's kind of how I found a lot of indie authors and stuff like that. So I was always like wanting to write it, but I never had like, I felt like the perfect story in my head to like tell it yet. So once I finally like had something like fully fledged in my head, I was like, okay, like we're doing a series, like we're going all into this small town. So I've had a blast writing it. I'm really excited that I'm here for 3 more books at least. So
Did you know what then when you were writing this that you were doing Small Town next, or did it come to you while you were writing this?
I had known actually before I started Black Ties, I thought that was what I was going to do, Small Town. Like I came out of the mixtape series, but then I kind of like thought about it and I was like, I want to make Small Town a series, and I kind of just want to like write, like I call Black Ties like my palette cleanser book where I just like could do whatever I wanted. Like I wasn't like mixing up timelines, you know what I mean? Like having to figure out who's related to who dated who. Like it was just like it was all new and all fresh. So I didn't want to make that one a standalone, like on its own, because I knew I wanted to be in Small Town for like a series.
Mhm.
So as I was writing Black Ties, when they visited Sutton Mountain, I knew that that would be like the small town that they were going to. But Black Ties was supposed to be small town at first, but then I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to like introduce a town and only do one book. So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
But I feel like even though it's not part of a series, you like set it up perfectly still. Because I know authors need to set it up in order to get people interested in the next one. So that was fun seeing that small town.
I think of like all my like characters like all in this like kind of like world, like kind of like Marvel does, kind of like a Marvel universe. Like it's just like a little cat Singleton universe. And I'm just like pulling people in and out. Like there's still more crossover from Black Ties into Sutton Mountain that I haven't announced yet. So like there's a lot of like, because again, Black Ties was like, it's a standalone and it is a true standalone. Like it is like not connected, but like I definitely, there's parts and people in there that like I want to end up in Sutton Mountain. So
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah.
I feel like then I have to like reread the original book though, because I'm like, do I remember every single character? And I'm like, now I have to go back and see, and then
Yeah, I have a lot of people. There is Camden was a huge one, and he's obviously the second book in the series. There's one other character that's like highly, highly requested that could end up, you know?
Oh, okay. You're a little teasing, but
Yeah.
without actually saying. Lizelle said she liked Rewrite Our Story, which
Thank you.
where should someone start if they're new to you?
So I think it definitely depends on like the kind of vibes you're going for. If you're wanting something like just like a quick, easy read that's like not gonna like make your heart hurt, if like Black Ties is like the book for you. It is spicy though, so if you're not a spicy person, I don't think Black Ties would be for you. And then if you're wanting some spice but also some like angst emotion, like you're probably gonna cry, I would go with Rewrite Our Story. Those are like my two kind of like, it depends on the mood you're in, because I know I'm such a mood reader, so I feel like I have to tell people like, okay, like just depends what you're feeling.
Yeah. I mean, like I agree with this one. I was rating it on vibes. It was it was such a fun time. I was like, yes, so good. But then Rewrite Our Story definitely more emotional.
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like sometimes if like you want a book that you're like you love, you know what I mean, it's good, but like it's not like Black Ties is, I know that's not going to change anybody's life. It wasn't trying to change anybody's life, you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those, like it's a fun read if you're just kind of needing to like get, you know what I mean, get a fun read in. But like if you're wanting something that's a little bit heavier, emotional, I love Rewrite so much.
We have what inspired you to be an author?
I feel like that's kind of a hard question because it's one of those that like I loved writing as a child and stuff like that. I still remember like the first thing I ever wrote. I grew up in a small town. I grew up on a farm, so I had horses, and I actually wrote a book about like a horse, which is funny now that like I'm in like my small town. But I kind of like knew realistically, like once I got to like middle school, high school, college age, that like being an author wasn't, you know what I mean? I didn't think it was something I could do a career of. I could just really never thought this is what I'd be doing. So I took creative writing in high school and college, but it was like kind of elective type stuff. But then I got introduced to indie authors and I found like Colleen Hoover, Abby Glines, and all these different like people that started kind of like indie, started out as indie. And I read a lot of indie, and then I did book blogging for a long time. And then once Instagram came around, I did Bookstagram, and I was like, maybe like I can do this. And I finally thought that I had like books of like that I wanted to write. So I wrote 2 books that will never see the light of day. Like never. One of them's dystopian, which is hilarious. Never will see the light of day. And then finally by the 3rd one, I was like, okay, maybe I can like release this into the world. And that was my debut novel. and it just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of happened.
What made you write a dystopian novel?
I don't really know. Like, I just was like, I'm going to do this. That's the first book I ever wrote was dystopian. And like, which is wild because there was so much like world building I had to know, like all these different things. And I think at the time that's just like really what I was reading. So I was like, I'm going to write this. I did. And it's literally printed out and in my closet, like in this box, because I don't even think I have like the actual file anymore. And that's where
never gonna see the light of day.
Never. My grandma's the one person that read it. She goes, "That's so good." I'm like, Grandma, no, I'm sorry. I love you, but no, it's not. It's terrible.
Is it still a romance?
Yeah, it's a romance.
Okay.
It's actually really, really angsty. Like for a, you know what I mean, dystopian. I feel like, but I don't know. You think of like Hunger Games stuff like that, and I feel like that is angsty in its own way.
Yeah, that's true. That's fine. I mean, I guess like because dystopian was super huge for a while, so
yeah, it was back then. Like it was. I feel like there's Hunger Games. There was Divergent, Allegiant, all those. Which you even get me started on the ending of those books. I still don't ever recover. And then what was the other one? I think I read like the selection and stuff like that, which really back then had me on a chokehold. So yeah, I think that's just what I was reading back then. So I was like, I'm gonna write it.
What made you then want to write rockstar romances? Because that's your next series.
Well, so I did like the two like college age ones, and to be honest, like Found Out Goodbye was I like had the idea of Found Out Goodbye before I ever had the idea for the first two books that I wrote. I just didn't feel like I knew everything about that book yet, so I didn't write it. But I have always been like obsessed with like boy bands and like the pop stars that come from boy bands and stuff like that. So I was like, I would love to like write a romance about that and kind of like switch up rock star romance and write about a pop star. So I just went for it, and my sweet Nash Pierce was born. And I just love him. Like I just love him so much.
So what are your favorite boy bands that inspired that series?
I mean, Jonas Brothers from like, if we're going like way back, like oh my God, the Tiger Beat posters I had on my childhood wall of Nick and Joe Jonas. Sorry, Kevin. I can appreciate Kevin now that I'm almost 30, but like back then I was like, Kevin, I'm sorry. But so I feel like those were like my original, but then obviously I got into like One Direction, 5 Seconds of Summer, and stuff like that. Like the good old days.
My first like big concert was the Jonas Brothers, so I get you. I love them. Yes, I was in summer before 9th grade. I went to the Jonas Brothers.
Oh my God, that is magical. I've never seen them, and I would love to.
I think I've seen them 3 times, and I'm going 3 more this summer. I'm going to see them 3 times.
Oh my God. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
I'm obsessed. Have you listened to the new album?
And they already released it?
Uh-huh.
Stop it. Okay, I'm not getting on my phone right now, but no, I've like obviously listened to the song. It's all over TikTok, but
yeah.
Okay, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah. But I was reading, I haven't read the Rockstar Romance yet, but the synopsis of the first one sounds so good, where she's hired to break his heart so that he can write music.
Well, that's funny because that one actually came, and I get asked this question all the time, every time I say this, but like I remember so vividly one time sitting in the car with my husband, and there was a song that I was like, man, this is a good song, but I feel like you can tell like this person like isn't the person that wrote it. Like they don't have the hurt that comes with the song. Like you listen to a Taylor Swift song, and like you can feel the hurt and all too well. Like she wrote it, she's putting everything in it when she sings it. And I don't remember what song, and I always get asked like what song it was, and I'm like, I don't remember. I don't know if I'd admit it, even if I did remember. But I remember like looking at my husband and being like, I feel like this song would be so much better if you knew that that they were hurt, like, you know what I mean? And then I just like sat there for a minute, and then I was like, oh my God. And then I had like everything, like, thinking about the music industry, and I'm like, I'm sure they do stuff like these poor people, like literally like put people in their life to like hurt them so they can write better music. So I was like, I'm gonna write a book about it. And I did. And that was like my book. That's like the most beautiful book because like everything came to me at once. Like I didn't have to plot. Like it just like was all like in my brain.
Oh, really?
I knew the title, I knew the blurb, I knew the tagline, I knew the plot. Like, and there's other books that take me 2 months just to get a title for. I'm like, oh my God.
So then do you typically plot your books?
I'm an in-betweener. Like, I don't fully pants, but I do not plot, like, extensively like some people do. Like, much to the dismay of my husband. He's just like, okay, what's this book about? And I'm like, what's this, this, this? And he's like, what else? And I'm like, we'll find out. So I'm like an in-between, but I'd say I'm definitely more of a pantser than a plotter.
Okay. Does he help with your books?
We talk about it. He's like my sounding board with a lot of things. I'm like, does this... Because I'm like, if you think this sounds good and you don't really read a lot of romance, he'll read my books, but he doesn't read, like... I think the last book before he married me he had read was Aragon, which is funny because that's the first time we ever met. He didn't believe me that I'd read that book. He's like, no one reads that book. I'm like, no, like, I read that book. Like, I love that book. So, yeah. He reads... Oh, here comes the dog. He reads all my stuff, but not anyone else's.
Aragon was a pretty popular book. Didn't it have a movie?
Yeah, but like I don't think he expected me. He's looking at me. He just walked into the room. Like he was 4 years older than me at the time. And I don't know. I feel like everyone else was like still very much like not in a fantasy era. Yeah. And I was very much like, oh yeah, I'll read like anything. So, but yeah, I heard they're making a different new movie for Aragon. I think I liked the movie, but it got a lot of hate.
Interesting. I feel like they just keep on remaking things that have already been made. I'm like, let's focus on the new stuff.
Do you feel like if they remade it, like now that CGI and stuff is better, like I do feel like it could be better, maybe.
That's true. That's true, especially with all the dragon stuff. Well, so do you like fantasy?
Are you about to ask me about Fourth Wing?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't
know that. Dragon.
There, I'm never gonna like actually read the physical version, but I have it on my shelf because I saw that she had said that like the sprayed edges ones were going out.
Yeah.
They were going to be sold out. So like, I had to buy one immediately because everyone's talking about it. So it's on my list to read. Like it's probably going to be my next read. I just never have time to actually read books anymore. But I want to. Is it so good? Did you read it?
It's amazing. I was obsessed.
Oh my gosh. I'm nervous though because I saw she said it's like 5 books.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh man, like should I wait? I don't know. We'll see.
I know.
No, but I think at least you could wait until like the second one comes out.
That's November, so
it's November. Oh, they're like so she's like pumping these out quickly then. Yeah. Okay, that's
I think she has an indie one, like an indie romance that she normally writes in between too. Okay, so she has like a million books coming out this year.
I forgot. It's the flight attendant one. Oh my god, I forgot the title of it, but it was so good. I remember reading it way back in the day. So I haven't read a book from her for a long time, but I am someone that gets influenced so easily. So all this talk about Fourth Wing, it's like I want to read it.
Yeah. And all the indie romance authors are reading it and obsessing over it. So
maybe like November is more achievable. Like I feel like I can read it now and still not feel like November is too far away. My fear was like it was going to be like 2025, and then I was going to be like, so
not long. Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, okay. I don't know names, but I was like, oh man.
Yeah, no, but it's good. And I'm glad you got a copy though, because I've seen people like literally cannot find them anywhere now. So
really good for her though. That's amazing that she's killing it.
That's really good. Would you ever write a fantasy?
I think, yeah, I would love to. I just like, I would have to really, really think of like the world building. Obviously, like I would have to be a lot more of a plotter, but I love everything fantasy. Like I'm a huge fantasy reader, watcher, everything. So it'd be fun. I don't think I'd do it under my same name though. Like I feel like if I ever did it, like it'd be not my name.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Separate the genres.
Yeah.
So Mackenzie asked, what is your favorite trope to write, and any that you want to write that you haven't yet?
So I've had a lot of fun with Small Town. So I'm excited to be like in Small Town to be writing it. A trope that I haven't written, but I want to. This one's hard because I know all the tropes for the Sun and Mountain series. So I'm always like, do I tell them, upcoming tropes? Do I not? I've always really wanted to do like single dad and nanny, so we'll just.
So is that's coming? Maybe I feel like that pairs so well with Small Town. So
it could. I've like always wanted to. I just think I don't know. Like I just like the angst that comes with that. It's just I'm an angst lover, so. And like, there's just something now that I have kids and like I see like, you know what I mean? My husband with kids. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to write a single dad because I think that's just so cute. So I'd love to write a single dad.
Why? I'm excited. I approve. But are you gonna write anything as angsty as like, because I really love about Black Ties and White Lies, it was her ex's brother. And I
Mhm.
like I just love it when they start dating someone that like they've already dated their sibling or like they're currently dating their sibling. Would you write something like that again?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love that. Like, I don't know, like I don't want to call it taboo because it's not like stepbrother and different stuff like that, which I
Mhm.
love stepbrother romance. But I thought that was so much fun because I do love I love angst. So anything that can bring more angst to the table, like I'm sold. Honestly, I would even love to do like ex's dad. Like I think that's a fun trope. I think that's such a
Yes,
fun trope.
yes.
Um, so definitely want to go back to writing some of that kind of like I know taboo is not the right word for it, but that kind of like skimming the line of taboo.
Mhm. Yeah. Would you what is the biggest age gap you've written? Because I know Black Ties was like a bit of an age gap. Is that the biggest you've written?
That's 13 years. I want to say, I'm trying to think. Founded
Mhm.
on Rejection is my other pretty significant age gap, and they might be a little bit more, but it wouldn't be, I think it'd be like 15 years. It's not like the
Okay.
20 plus, you know what I mean, that you'd
Mhm.
get with like ex's dad and stuff like that. So I should probably know. I'm pointing the wrong way. But I found out on Rejection, the fourth one. It's like mirrored. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Theirs is like 13, 14, 15. But off the top of my head, I can't remember what exactly it was for
Okay.
Lynn Poe. But nothing like you would get with X's dad.
Okay.
So I'd love to do that though.
Mhm. And Maria saying she loves your books.
Thank you.
Are any of your books or characters based on personal experience or real life?
I mean, yes and no. Like, I feel like I definitely take bits and pieces of different, parts of my life or like, things I know that have happened to my friends and different stuff like that and put it into my books. There's nothing that's like 100% my life. I married my high school sweetheart. So I married like the one guy I only ever dated. So I didn't have a lot of like dating experience, like write these guys, but
Mhm.
there's definitely a lot of like small things from either my life or like people I know. I'll take their stories and plop them into a book. So a little bit.
Do they know that you're using them as inspiration?
No, not really. No. None of my friends really read my books. I have one friend. Like,
Really?
no, not a lot of them read. So I kind of like am in the clear.
Oh, okay. You don't want them to read them?
I don't anybody I talk to reading my books in my real life, I'm like, I just like start blushing. Like my grandma reads every single thing I write. Actually, she just texted me earlier today and she said, let's open it. She goes, I shouldn't start one of your books when I have things I need to get done. It's too hard to put it down once I start reading. Reread Our Story has me hooked.
Aw,
Is that on
your
this?
grandma is so sweet.
No. When she was reading Black Ties, she texted me. She goes, my glasses are fogging up. I was like, Grandma. Yeah. So we love her, but yeah.
At
But like
least she's a fan.
I know, but like imagine like at Easter, like this is what we talk about, like dinners. They all want to know about my books, and my grandma's like, "Oh, you should read this scene," and I'm like, "No, no, you shouldn't. Stop it."
Gotta keep those family dinners entertaining.
I
Grandma,
They
so
are.
funny.
They
That is so, so funny. Oh, I love your grandma for that. What is the character you most identify with?
This one's funny. I feel like I identify most with Margot, which always makes me nervous to say because I think she's like my most hated character. Like people really don't like her, and I'm like, oh man, like they either like love her or hate her because I feel like she is like an in between character. Like she's not fully confident, but she's also not like the shy, quiet type that I feel like sometimes like when the characters are shy, like we forgive them a little bit for being a little like, you know what I mean? They don't stand up for themselves as much. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of like that in between. Like I'm not the loudest in the room, I'm not the quietest in the room, and Margot. But I'm always like, oh man, that makes me nervous to say.
Anybody says they hate Margot, you're like, "No."
I know. I'm like, oh man, that's like a shot to the heart. But
Mhm.
that I just think she's very much so my like. Again, she's not like I'm about to write Pippa, and Pippa will be a very like loud, like very much a confident character. And like that's not always me, but I'm also was never like super, super shy or anything like that. And I feel like Margot was kind of that same way. And kind of Mare was too. I feel like Margot and Marigold are very like kind of like even keel type personalities. So Margot is my girl, but makes me nervous to say that. I promise everyone you should still love me.
I mean, to be fair though, readers really judge the heroine a lot more harshly. So
100%. I have learned that. I was like, wow. Like I feel like
little thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The hero can be the biggest jerk and do the worst things, and we're like, yes, we love him.
Yeah.
The heroine can say like one thing, and people are like, oh my god, she's awful. So, yeah. Third act breakup.
I actually just wrote my first like no third act breakup. I don't mind third act breakup because again, I like the angst and stuff like that. Like I like realistically, like sometimes that would happen sometimes, but also like my husband and I, we broke up for a couple of months, like things like that. So I feel like my own person, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if that makes me a little bit more like forgiving of characters. I think age plays into it too. Like when you're reading about like a 22-year-old or like a 32-year-old, you know what I mean? I feel like you're different points in life where like maybe you do make stupid decisions or you don't communicate what you're feeling and stuff like that. And like, I don't know. So I don't mind a third act breakup. I really don't. I like the angst that comes with it. I do feel like sometimes I read them and I'm like, okay, like maybe this wasn't necessary, you know, but I don't hate them. I know that they can be a hot topic, but
very hot topic, yes. I think as long as they like flow okay, like it makes sense for the story, then that's okay. But when it's like out of left field forced and you're like, oh, was this necessary?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Gotta be thoughtful with those third act breakups. Ex's dad is definitely an underrated trope that more people need to write because it's so good. But I feel like people love it. Would you write an interracial romance?
I would, yeah. I definitely want to make sure that I have readers that I can kind of go through to make sure I'm not, you know, writing lived experiences that I haven't lived and things like that. But 100%, yeah.
And I wanted to, oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I want to just make sure I do that right. You know what I mean? I don't want to ever.
Yeah. Of course, yes. I wanted to ask though about your book boxes, because they are super fun and cool. And did you start doing those just with Black Ties, or did you do them before?
No, Black Ties was my first one that I ever did them.
If you guys did not know, she sends out these amazing boxes, PR boxes to readers. And how do you pick like what goes in them? Because and do you take a long time? What is that process like?
It's a long process. Black Ties, it was a lot longer just because like I had known for a while that I kind of wanted to do that. So like I feel like I had more time to kind of like find different websites, order from different people and stuff like that, and kind of like curate it. But I try to think of like things that fit the story or at least fit like the aesthetic that I've set for the book. I'm very big on setting aesthetics for my books. I like on my I just like my whole entire feed to like represent that book. So if you like scroll my feed, you'll see very much like what era I guess I'm in as far as like what I'm writing. So I kind of wanted the boxes to be the same thing. So for like Black Ties, I wanted it to very much feel like that like black and white type vibes. I wanted it to like feel like you were like opening up this gift from a billionaire essentially, and you were like, oh my god, like, you know. So that one I kind of looked for things that fit that vibe. I have a very amazing designer who is very creative. So like she's like, oh my god, a business card. And I'm like, yes, a business card. But then of course like she's like, we have to do a foiled business card. And I'm like, yeah, let's do a foiled business card because like that's what Beck would do. Like he'd be bougie. So there's different things like that. It's just kind of a process of looking at different websites, finding things I like, finding things that fit, and going with it. And then I always have to do a candle because Stella Candle Co. is like my favorite. I love Jasmine. And she's stuck with me forever now on creating candles.
The one for the Rewrite Our Story was so good. I really like that candle. And the earrings were amazing. I should have worn them. The cowboy, they were
I know. I thought you said we were wearing them for book bonanza. And I'm so mad because I didn't keep any for myself. And I guess there's a Western night or like a country night at book bonanza. And I'm like, why didn't I keep any for myself? So I'm trying to see if I can like order them not. Like,
yeah. You know. I'm shocked you didn't keep any for yourself, even for just like Instagram.
I didn't even think about it, to be honest. Like, we just like our packing and we're like ordered a specific amount of each thing. And I put all of those things in the boxes and sent them. And now I'm like, I want those earrings. So kind of sad about that. But Yeah, the earrings were like like the first thing that I saw that I was like immediately ordering.
Yes.
So,
well, I mean, because I mean, he's a I don't know, what would you call him? A rancher, a farm?
yeah,
He's not a
it's
farmer.
it's hard because like yeah, they have like the trail rides and stuff like that. So like they
Yeah,
do a ranch, but it's not like full blown like farm. But he's
yeah.
also like a rider or anything like that. Where he's like a cowboy, like he's kind of cowboy. I don't know, country boy. I guess I don't know.
There's no title for him.
It's
He's just himself.
hard.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he does like work. He's like a rancher. I feel like he can kind of be a cowboy, but
yeah. If it is, he'll be a cowboy. It's okay.
it's like I like never like I have a rock star, but he's technically a pop star. Now I have like a rancher who's like kind of a cowboy, but like I just like to just like switch it up a little.
Mhm. But I just love all the scenes, like with the horses and on the ranch. The whole vibe and atmosphere was perfect for that book for the small town. So. And you mentioned your designer. So does that designer do your covers as well?
Mhm.
Do you want to talk through your cover process? Because I really like how different your two covers are. You're not like following the same because they're so different. The books are, and I feel like they really fit each of the books really well.
Yeah. So her and I talked for a long time. Like Find Out on Goodbye was our first one that we ever did together. And we talked a long time about like what we wanted for that cover. And I wanted it very like grungy, like 90s kind of feeling. So she had the idea of making it look like an album cover. So that one was just kind of like, I don't know, us going back and forth. Black Ties was kind of our problem child, to be honest. Like Black Ties took a long time because I wanted it to be very tropey, I guess. You know what I mean? I wanted it to look like a billionaire romance, and billionaire romance is a very specific kind of cover. But our problem we kept facing was a lot of them looked mafia or dark, and I'm like, this is not a dark book whatsoever. Like, so we kind of had to like play around with things. And that's kind of like how The Kiss on the Collar came to be and different stuff like that.
Perfectly, yeah.
So that one I call my problem child, which is funny because I think that's like so many people say that's like their favorite cover ever, and I'm of mine. And I'm like, I feel like that one. I don't know. We went back and forth so much on it that there's a very pink one we did where I was like, this is too much pink. Like, there's a lot of versions of that one, to be honest. And rewrite, I kind of knew more what I wanted for that. So I came to her and I told her, you know how people do like reading journals right now where like they cut up all the pictures and make it very aesthetic. I was like, I want to do something like that. But the problem is I wanted it to still have that small town feel where there's just one photo of the couple. Like I was like, I wanted it that kind of like stereotypical like ebook cover where it's like just two people on a cover and that's it. So we kind of like took the scrapbook idea and then like put the couple there, and she created that masterpiece. And the discreet version of it was like all her. I just told her, I was like, I want it to match. I go, I think I want flowers on it, which made me really nervous because I knew that floral covers were another thing right now that was like a hot topic. But I was like, the marigolds, like they fit the story very well. Like put flowers on there, but like I don't want it to be like the only thing on there. So I keep going the wrong way because I forgot I mirrored. But so I think that's actually my favorite one. Like I love this one so much. I've never had such a I feel like it's such a title-oriented cover, and I love it. So it kind of depends on the cover what she just comes up with on her own, or if like I have more input. But yeah, that's that.
It works so well though because like what I appreciate is you can tell exactly what you're getting when you look at them because a lot of discrete covers, it's hard. You're like, is this a romance? Is it, I don't know what this is, but like you can totally tell with this. I mean, and even with the discrete one, you can tell the small town, you can tell the romance. This one, I think why people love it is because it just screams billionaire. And I think you guys hit the nail on the head with this one. So I'm happy you finally figured out billionaire versus mafia. So yeah.
Well, we wanted it to kind of feel like it was like a magazine, like an editorial magazine. It was kind of like the vibe we were going for. But then again, sometimes it looked very mafia. And I was like, oh God, the wrong person's going to pick this up and they're going to want some dark themes and some guns and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's not, it's not this book. But I also wanted it to stand on its own because like, obviously like, want to get the cutoff head that people like in Billionaire and stuff like that. Like I wanted my cover to be my cover. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to look like anyone else's as much as I could. So she created magic. By the end of it, I was like, oh my God, like I love it so much. I think it's like the sleekness of it. It's just like very
Well, like the spine is just perfect. I'm obsessed how it's like black and then you get the white with the black.
Yeah. That was my first spine I ever had that was like a stark contrast to the front cover.
I love how it turned out. It's so good. I love it. And I appreciate how you have both the people and the discreet because I like both.
There might be something else coming for signings for Black Ties. I cannot confirm or deny that. I'm
like soon or
Book Bonanza. Like that's the first signing we'll be at.
Okay. I'll be there. So
I haven't announced it yet because it's not going to be a pre-order or anything like that. It's just going to be if you're there.
The Hunger Games running to your table of people trying to grab it.
I wish I was that cool, but I don't think I'm that cool. But
that's what I think will happen with everything. Whenever authors are like, "There's no pre-order, just come," I'm like, "Okay." Now I feel like I have to run and race to get it. But that's
no, I'll feel that way. I'll make sure that you have one. I promise.
Okay, I'm excited. And what signings are going to be at then this year? So you said Book Bonanza. Any other ones?
Bonanza in Vegas this year.
Ooh, okay.
You have Vegas?
Yes, I'm gonna go.
I'm so excited. And then for next year, the only one that's been announced is Wild and Windy. It'll be at Wild and Windy.
Oh, I was just there for this year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have never been to Chicago. Like we kind of treat signings as like places that we want to visit too. Like we've never been to Vegas, so I'm really excited for Vegas. And like I've never been to Chicago, and so when I got invited, I was like, okay, like this will be fun. So I'd never been to Seattle when it went to Seattle, so yeah, I'm excited.
Does your husband always come with you, and do you bring the kids or you leave them at home?
No, oh my God, no. I love my children so much, but they're 2 and 1, so they're just not. They get to stay home. He did not go to Denver with me. I went to Denver on my own with like friends, and then he did go to Seattle, and he will be at Book Bonanza in Vegas, and I'm sure he'll come to Chicago. So I like him to come just because I'm not someone I've never flown on my own. I've never done anything on my own, which I probably shouldn't admit at 28. 28? Yeah, 28 years old. But like
your own age.
You get to this point where I'm like, but so I don't know. I just feel like I kind of maybe codependent.
Like I fly on my own all the time, and it
makes me so like I get like hives thinking of it. Like I'd be there like 5 hours early just to make sure nothing goes wrong, to make sure I'm in the right spot. And then the thought of like when you get there having to navigate things on your own. Like in Seattle, he knew about the SeaTac thing, or not the train thing that you took. Or did you take an Uber?
Oh, I just took an Uber.
Well, he put us on this like tram thing that like went across Seattle, and like all these different things. Or like walking around Seattle. Like if I was on my own, I don't know. Like I get so nervous. My anxiety just like skyrockets. So
yeah,
I think it was time where I have to do it.
The husbands were the cutest at Seattle. They were just all hanging out, like you and Laura's husband.
Literally
helping you.
They text. They're gonna go to football games together, and I'm like, Laura, what has happened? like I would be looking for Aaron, and I'm like, where is he? And there he is, just chilling with Greg. And I'm like, okay, we have work to do. Come on. But
so funny. Social event for them. Who are you?
Well, I'm glad because at first I was like, dude, like husbands come? Like, because I feel like when I was in Denver, I didn't see a lot of husbands. And I was like, oh man, I already bought all this stuff for Seattle. But I was like, Aaron, you're coming. Like, you're coming to Seattle no matter what. And then I'm glad. And like, I've talked with people that like are bringing their husbands, like Book Bonanza in Vegas. So I'm like, okay, like you won't be alone. But Aaron could talk books all day. Like he does so much of my like behind the scenes stuff for me for books. So he's prepared no matter what.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff.
Are your covers for the rest of the series, are you planning on having them match?
Yes.
So some kind of.
Yeah. Like they'll have obviously like different couples on them that we are like setting up and stuff like that. And they'll have like different color schemes, I guess. But like they'll still like very much be like the same vibes. Like I like my stuff to match. So.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. That's exciting. So both like the discreet and the will be the same kind of deal.
Yeah. Not the same vibes. Like obviously they'll be changed up to like fit the storyline. Like there's not gonna be marigolds, obviously, like on Pippa and Camden's, but it will still have that very like scrapbooky feel and stuff like that.
Yeah. And is there a reason you're only doing 3 for that series? Because I think your Rockstar 1 is 4, right?
It will be 4. It's 4 books.
Oh, it's 4 books? So you have 3 more.
3 more, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought when you were saying 3, it was the 3.
No,
Okay.
3 more. And I can't make any promises on this. I'd love to like put a Christmas novella in there. But I like don't know for sure. Like I'd have to finish Tempt Our Fate like very quickly.
Yeah.
As far as like audio and stuff like that. To give myself time to also write a Christmas novella and have like the 3rd book done on time. So, but I'm hoping because like Christmas is like my favorite thing ever. I have consumed every Hallmark movie, Christmas movie, every Netflix, every single one of them. So I feel like my moment, like this is my time to write a Christmas romance because like Christmas in small town, like what's better? Like
they're huge come Christmas time. Like everybody's eating every Christmas romance up. So
I would just love to write it so much. I think I just have like the time of my life. And I don't even know if it'd be a novella because I can't write anything short. We had this conversation at the beginning. Like I can't.
Will be perfect.
So my fingers are crossed. I haven't like obviously like committed. So like
That's
right. Get excited, but I'd love to.
If you can put it in.
I have the time of my life. On the cover, I feel like with the way these look already, I keep pointing the wrong way. It could be so cute. I want it so bad.
Just make it a 5-book series. We won't mind.
That's what I've done. My fingers might be flying to fill it in.
That's fair. Do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Man, that's hard. That's really hard to put me in the spot like that. Like, I'm a Four Christmases girl. Like, I will go back and watch that all the time. It's not as cheesy, I feel like. You know what I mean? I mean, The Holiday is another, like, amazing one.
A classic.
And then there's some good Hallmark ones. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I loved, or the Netflix one, the first, where she becomes a princess, like with the prince. What's that one called? There's now like 3 of them on Netflix. They've done it.
Is that the Vanessa Hudgens one?
No, the other one. The girl's blonde. The guy at the very end proposed. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything. But
is it A Princess for Christmas? Maybe. There's so many princess Christmas movies.
Hard. She like, I think she becomes like the nanny or something to his sister, maybe. Oh, God.
Oh, that sounds very familiar.
The guy, I think he's so attractive in it. I can't think of the title. It'll come to me as soon as we get off this.
Okay.
But
that's okay. I know which one you're talking about though, because I think I've seen that one.
Okay.
Especially if there's 3 now.
Yeah, there's like they've got married. Like I think the second one's like they got married, and like the third one they had the baby. Yeah, I can't think of the name. And then I'm trying to think of my favorite Hallmark one because like there's so many. Like way back when, the one where they got stuck in the elevator. A classic.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know titles. Let's really
just scenes.
Just scenes. Like specific moments that like stand
out. I mean, they have some really good actors though in those Hallmark movies. So
and they're just so cheesy that you just love it. Like you eat it up. What's your favorite?
A Christmas movie is I love Love Actually and The Holiday. Die Hard is one of my favorites when we're not talking romance. I watch Die Hard every year putting the tree up. But Holiday in Handcuffs. Have you ever seen that one with Mario Lopez?
Yes, and the blonde and the Melissa.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's such a throwback.
That is a classic. We have it on DVD. And also watch it every year. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
You have to write a Christmas romance now. You can't have this whole conversation.
I want to so bad. I really want to make sure I can fit it in because I just love Christmas. Ugh, the vibes. I just feel like I could already think of like the playlist, the cover, the Pinterest board. I just have to. Plus, like Satin Mountain, like it's a ski town. You know what I mean? Like it's known for tourism during the winter. So like, I feel like I have to. I have to make it.
There's the Christmas Prince.
Maybe that's it.
I don't know if that's. I'd have to look it up.
I know. I have to Google it. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to pull anything away from here because I just
don't mess anything up. Yeah. I'm afraid my Wi-Fi is gonna scream at me if I decide to look up the movie. So if anybody wants to look it up, let us know.
The guy's blonde. I'll tell you that.
What did you say?
I think the guy's blonde. I think they're both blonde. He's got like the dirty blonde hair, but like he's just I don't know. There was something about that man that just like he'd wear like riding boots and a pair of like riding pants, and I'm like, this is so attractive.
There's one where it's like she's the reporter.
Yes, that one.
That it?
But
and
like
she gets the job as the nanny.
Yes.
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 Okay. Yes.
And like the sledding, or like is it a horse or sledding scene? And he like comes in and saves her on his horse. Oh, I just eat that up every time.
Like, you were just made to write small town romances. How did you not write one until now?
I think I was so nervous. I love them so much. Like I didn't want to do it wrong. Like so. Yeah. I feel like I always just like to like Rockstar. I feel like I started writing Rockstar like right after it was like big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like in Small Town still really big, but like I feel like Small Town like definitely was like huge like a year ago, 2 years. You know what I mean? But I feel like everyone's like staying in the Small Town era, which I'm excited about because like I'm forever in my Small Town era.
Same. Yes. I love it. Do you have favorite small town authors you read, or just authors in general that you're enjoying?
Okay, so one I haven't read, but like I have to make it a priority is Elsie Silver. Like I want to read her. So I know
haven't read her yet.
I want to so bad, and I told her this. I was like, I'm the worst because I adore her, but I just like I haven't like I had 202 for a long time. Now they're a little bit older, but like I was in the trenches, and I taught full time up until like this year is the first year that I wasn't like working, writing, momming. So yeah, so life has been busy. So her books I want to read so bad because I just love that. Like I love the small town and spicy. Like I love like the mix. I have read some of Melanie Harlow. I love them. Laura Pavlov, adore her. She was the first author that like ever talked to me like when I was an author. So like she's like the sweetest. I'm obsessed with her. So I feel like those are A.L. Jackson was one that I've read for like forever.
Did you read her new one?
I have not. No, I need to. It's on my list.
Really good. I just finished it. I mean, it comes out next week, so I don't know if you would have had an early copy of that.
I met her at Seattle, and I was like, oh, I'm like hyperventilating because again, I've read her forever, and I'm like, oh my god, like you're in the same room with me. So yeah, but Elsie Silver is like top. I also read Catherine. Like when I'm like in like I haven't read, to be honest, a lot of like the suspense with romance. Like I haven't read a lot of that, but like everyone always talks about her books, so like they're top of my list. I read Candy Steiner's. I know that she's not only small town.
Yes.
What is it like on the rocks? Yeah, loved those way back. You know. So, but Elsie's like the like top like of my TBR. I just adore her human, and I feel like everyone talks about her books, and I just feel like I have FOMO. I really have really bad FOMO that I haven't read her yet.
And I think it's funny that I've been blogging since 2011, so I had a blog first. So it's crazy that you were a blogger. Who were you reading when you started your blog and was doing that?
I mean, I started out with a lot of like the Abby Glines, Colleen Hoover, Katie Ryan, back when it was like Grip, but the couple that came before Grip that like how it connected. I can't think of their names right now, but their music, loved them. Kaylee Ryan, I read Small Town. Trying to think who else. Besides like, or is it Kaylee? Is it Kaylee Ryan? Am I saying that right? I think it's Kaylee. I don't know if I'm mixing up with Kennedy Ryan. There's Kaylee.
There's Kendall Ryan, right?
No, I know her first name is Kaylee, and like I know she was the first person that ever put me like on an ARC team. And I was so excited about it. I want to say it's Kaylee Ryan, but I could be. I don't know. But trying to think like what other. I should. Oh no, my other books are all on the other side of me. Of all. But I went to the very first book bonanza as like a blogger reader. Whoa. The one in Denver. And so still so many of my like OG indie books from way back then. So
I just remember the time where New Adult was like in its prime with Colleen and Abby and Kay Tucker and Samantha Young. Like all of them were.
Oh my gosh, Abby Glines. I think Abby Glines was the first person I ever read that was indie with Rush in all those books. And oh my god, I was like obsessed. I was obsessed. I met her in Denver, and I was like, again, hyperventilating. I go to these things, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be cool, but I'm not cool. When Austin Silver looked my way and knew who I was like, stop it right now. No one.
Oh, you're one of them now, so
I don't feel like one of them.
well,
I'm like, I feel like
that's how people feel meeting you now. So
it's wild.
Yeah. Not necessarily a small town, but do you have any auto-buy authors?
Yeah, I'll read anything that Kennedy Ryan releases. I adore her and her writing and just like the grip that she can get on you. Like oh my god, like she writes so beautifully. Again, like I've been so bad recently. So like Candy Steiner was always one that I've read for forever. Like I haven't read all of her new books just because life has been wild. Brittany Cherry was another one that I read. Those books, the way that she can write angst is just unmatched. Like Taryn Fisher was another one that I always used to read. So those are all ones that Mudvayne is still messes with me to this day.
Oh, I haven't read that one.
Oh my god, you have to read it.
Yeah. I read the one that she wrote with Willow Astor, the End of Men series. Did you ever read that?
Yes. Did they finish it? I only think. Okay, I was gonna say I read them, but
there's only 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did read those.
Yeah. Before I forget, I do want to ask you about audios. So do you have audio Black Tie?
June 27th.
Okay. And who are the narrators? Have you announced that yet?
Lee Samuels and Savannah Peachwood.
Ooh, exciting. And are you working towards dual release?
Okay.
I know it's a lot for authors to try to do that. So
yeah, it's not going to be for like rewrite for the Side Mountain series because those have already been purchased and with Podium. So yeah, they aren't dual. But yeah, duet, no dual.
Well, I mean, like dual release. So like releasing. Sorry, that's also narration. So I should have.
Yeah, they are dual narration. They're not.
Not duet.
Yeah, where they switch in the same chapter. Yeah, they're not gonna be that. Dual release. Obviously it was not for Rewriter's Story.
Yes.
I don't know if it will be for Tempt Our Fate, but it will be a lot closer. So like that's kind of why my release date, September 21st, is the audio. We were really trying to get audio as close as possible to release. So maybe it's a possibility for Tempt Our Fate, but even if it's not that, like they'll be a lot closer than like what they've been right now. And then my hope is by the 3rd book that it'll be fully dual release because I know that that's like huge. I have to get like a book ahead.
Yes.
That's my like back and forth with writing a Christmas book as I did that. So that's kind of my.
Do we sacrifice the audio for?
I really gotta try and pump out a book, to be honest. Like I can write a book in 6 weeks if like I can like write every day and like my nanny's here and everything. So my hope is Tempt Our Fate. Like I'm really excited to write them. I'm really inspired to write another Enemies to Lovers. I haven't done Enemies to Lovers for a while. So I'm hoping that it's just an easy, smooth sailing book and I can go right into writing Christmas.
I'd be so excited for that. Do you have the narrators then for Rewriter's Story?
Not that I can announce yet.
Okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do you ever listen to audiobooks?
I honestly, no.
Okay.
Until I listened to Daisy Jones and the Six right before it came out.
Okay.
I was told that like that's the way you should read it, like not to eyeball read it, but to listen. But I'm like, I'm not an audio listener. And then I was told that you have to. So I did it and I actually really enjoyed it. I learned that I have to like pick up the speed. Like that was my problem in the past as I was listening to it on like the normal speed. And I was like, no, I cannot. Because I always like I listen to podcasts, like I listen to true crime podcasts like all the time. Like I'm a crime junkie first and I love Crime Junkie. So I was like, I don't mind listening to things, but I like kept telling people I just couldn't do audio. And they're like, you just have to listen to the right book at the right pace or speed. So I did Daisy Jones and the Six, and then I did all of the Sierra Simone like
series.
Yeah, so
good.
Those were hilarious because I actually made I started Priest and it was on the way to Denver, I drove down with Monty J and Maren Moore, and I made them listen to Priest with me in the car. So we're all just listening, and they're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "No, like, this is an experience. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so invested. Like, we're listening to this. I'm like, sorry." So now I'm getting a little bit into more audio. I actually bought all of Elsie's on audio to listen. I heard that they're really good audiobooks.
They are.
So I'm kind of entering my audiobook era, I guess you could say.
So exciting. Because then I feel like that'll help you know now, like, narrators you might want and stuff like that. So,
well, like with Black Ties, I just like put up a question box. And I was like, who did I see with Beck and Margot? And then I got the people, and like Savannah and Lee were like number one. Like both of them were, like everyone said them, but I was like, oh god, like I don't know, like they're wanting to get production like fast. Like I don't know if we're gonna be able to like get these people, but they did it, so I was really excited about that. But now I feel like a little bit more versed in like the voices that fit my characters, because we're already talking about like Tempt Our Fate and like getting that all in order, even though that book's not even written. So
I was gonna say, so now you're gonna pick them before you write the book.
Again, I'm trying to do that, Jewel.
Yes. Yeah.
Please. So
yes, we love audiobooks, and I love audiobooks. So I'll
have to come to you if I'm like stuck.
And do you have a date for Rewrite Our Story audio?
No, I don't have the date. I can't tell you the date or the narrators yet.
You can't even tell the date yet?
No, I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's okay.
I wish I could. The fact that I can like keep this a secret is a miracle, because I'm so bad at secrets. Like I can't. It's not just me anymore. Like spilling my own secrets to other people's too. So I'm like, but soon you should know.
Okay, I'm excited. And because we are coming close to an hour, so I just want to reiterate your bonus epilogue, extended epilogue. I don't know what you call that. When is that coming to newsletters?
That'll be out by June 1st. So at the end of this month, it will be going out to people.
Okay, and how do they join that? Is that in your Instagram?
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram page, you can go to my links, and it will send you to sign up. Or if you go to authorcatsingleton.com, there's like a little thing at the top that says newsletter, and you can sign up that way. Okay. And like it will be like, even if you sign up after, like you'll still get it. Like everyone that signs up after will like you'll get it as soon as it gets your email. So it's not like for some reason it doesn't go through right or something like that. Like when you sign up now, you'll still be able to get it after.
Can people still access then the Black Ties? I'm assuming you have one for that. Okay.
Yep. And the Black Ties one is fine because it really ties in to Sutton Mountain and stuff like that. So if you haven't read Rewrite Our Story, like the Black Ties extended epilogue, like they get married in Sutton. So it kind of like
sets things. Know that.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys didn't know, there is a snowed in only one bed in Sutton Mountain. Then that's where this takes place. So it's so good. I love that trope. Just the tropes you use are always perfect. So
I'm like I love tropes. I'm such a tropey person. Like I base my book like what I read off tropes. So I just like pepper in every trope that I possibly can.
And if you have not yet, Rewrite Our Story is her newest one. Came out a couple weeks ago. Last week?
11th, yeah.
Okay, a couple weeks ago. And the next one's out in September. But if you are waiting, you have Black Ties, which audio releases June. Yes. Okay, I'm trying to keep all these dates straight.
Good.
And but you still have a whole backlist too of pop star romances and your other two.
Yeah, they're kind of small town, like college, but they're like younger. They're college based. So
okay.
That's all about
to read from Kat. And then she's gonna be at Book Bonanza and Vegas.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm like so nervous for Book Bonanza, but I'm very excited.
It'll be okay. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot for everybody, but it'll be fun.
I know. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Kat, for joining. I think I already linked your Instagram. I will double check. It should be in the description box. But yeah, we will see everybody later. Goodbye.
Thank you again for having me.